And with that, oh, come on now. Come on. There we go. Go blue today. All right. Welcome to today's stream. This is going to be an interesting one. I did something similar previously, and it was using ChatGPT to create some Python script to use in Blender. This is a bit different because we're going to be using it directly in Blender. So there's a lot that we can bypass in terms of like what we need to tell the prompts, because it understands that we're in Blender and understands that we're creating Python script to do functions in Blender. Now, what benefit we're going to get out of this? I have a few things to test through. So we're going to go through and kind of test all these different themes or prompts and see how it's working, how it improves itself. And there is one thing here. We're going to be using ChatGPT 3.5 within Blender, and then we'll explore ChatGPT 4 and kind of also compare some of the differences. So let's do it. We're going to get into Blender now. We switch over to the scene. So real quick on how this works, like many other plugins that I've introduced in this channel, we hit N over here in the 3D viewport, wherever the plugin is available, so that we can bring up the toolbar on the side. And we have here GPT-4 Assistant, right? The description is in the link, or the link is in the description below. You can check out the creator and some of what he's put out. Really, I mean, straightforward sort of plugin here. I am stuck here, so I do need to restart Blender. So this is something that I'll cover on some of the issues that you might come across on installing it. But real quick, I'm going to reset Blender here and do a really quick one so you see what I mean on how this works. So we bring up the plugin over here for ChatGPT. I'm going to switch over to GPT-3 and we'll introduce a prompt. So let's go with perhaps creating a script for animating a camera movement. So we'll do that's something that I actually did before through the regular website for ChatGPT. So I can also compare a little bit on the past experience using that one prompt. So we could say create a camera that is animated to move forward on the x-axis. Include very light and natural camera shake. So let's test that out. We hit execute, wait a little bit, and we should be getting a camera popping up in our scene. And we can check that always on the right hand side on our layer structure. Okay, so error. Operator keyframe failed. Context is incorrect. So Blender is giving us an error here. So what we can do is we could say, well, we have the camera there, even though it says it's failed. So if we animate right now, you see that the camera isn't doing anything. So we can tell ChatGPT that created a camera. However, there was an issue creating keyframes. It'd be nice to copy the exact error, but let's see how that does. Bypass that. So again, we get something where global namespace referenced before assignment. Okay. Maybe let's simplify this. Just create a camera that is animated, move on the x-axis. Take away the camera shake for 3-5. Maybe it tried to modify the existing camera, and that's why it failed. So we got no error this time. We'll hit play on the animation. And yeah, we see the camera moving through the x-axis. So it did use an existing, no, it did create a new camera. I'm not sure if it looks like it sort of duplicated the original camera that was in the scene, and we see it keeping the position that it had and moving on the x-axis. So if I were to rotate this camera, not in that direction, but in that direction, we could see, you know, it's only keyframed on the x location. We can sort of rotate it or mess with it. Okay, So how do you set this up? Well, like any other plugin, we download a zip file. So in this case, we're getting it off of GitHub, and we can go over here to code, download the zip file, and then once the zip file is downloaded, we go over to edit, preferences, add-ons, install, and then you double click or select that zip file wherever you got it saved. I already got it in here, but once you do, it'll show up right here like this, and you'll have to hit the checkbox. Now, another step to this is you've got to add an API key. So when you sign up with OpenAI, you may get some credits to use at your discretion at first, some free credits. And past that, you'd have to set up a paid account because it's going to charge every time you do a prompt to use the API. So how much does it charge? Well, I've been doing prompts this whole afternoon preparing for this. And I don't know how many I've done, 3-4 dozen, and I think it's charged me like a couple cents. So it's not too bad if you're using it for work. I think it makes sense. If we go over here we are, I want it to go to the API key. So I can't show you mine, but where you get that is you go to the OpenAI website, you sign up, and you'll have your API keys set up right here. And you just create a new secret key, copy that, paste it in, and after pasting it in, do right here, paste your API key, hit enter. You can save your preferences so that it saves that up, and then you can close out your preferences. You'll have your plugin showing up on the right, and yeah, you can get to work. So if you get an error for using GPT 3.5, it may be because you haven't set up a paid account, so you can't use the actual API. And I'm not able to use GPT-4 at the moment within Blender because I'm still on the wait list. So in order to use the API for ChatGPT-4, you have to be on the wait list to get approved and get through. They're still sending out invites. However, I am going to later test 4 by using it within my browser. So with that, let's continue testing. So we got a camera movement. That's not bad. You know what? Let's do this. Let's solve for this together. So if we go over here, and in this case, I'm subscribed here to ChatGPT Plus in order to use GPT-4. And let's just start out. Let's say create a Python script to animate a camera on the x-axis. Include some light and natural camera shake. Yeah, let's keep it at that for now. Alright. So it's also telling me it can use the Pygame library for graphics and Python games math module to handle the shake. Okay. Don't know what that means. If you're a programmer, you might know. So it's still going a little bit. The cool thing about when it writes code is you can just hit copy code on the top right. You don't have to go through and select everything every time. And yeah, I mean, if we break this down a little bit, it's setting up screen dimensions. So it's setting up dimensions for the camera, it seems. Colors, not sure for what. Camera settings. So we have speed, we have intensity for the shake. We have an angle. I know how to read code, I don't know how to write it. And then we have down here, draw a simple rectangle to represent the camera. Okay. I wonder if we need that. Let's see. It says then, this script sets up a simple window with Python game and animates a black rectangle representing the camera movement on the x-axis. The camera shake is implemented as a random offset applied to the camera's position using trigonometry to ensure a more natural shake. Cool. You can adjust the camera speed and camera shake intensity variables to achieve the desired effect. Sweet. Please note you'll need to have Pygame installed in your environment to run this script. You can install it using PIP. Let's see. I would like to have a script that does not require Pygame and achieves a similar result. Let's see. Yeah. Creating an animation without using a dedicated graphics library like Python Game or Python Glit or Piglet is more difficult, but you can use the built-in TheKinter library to create a simple window with a moving object. Here's a basic example that animates a rectangle on the x-axis with some light and natural camera shake. Okay? So that's something to look into, suppose. If you have any suggestions over there within the chat, hello there, Ian. Thanks for dropping in once more. Always good to have you. Yeah, if you'd like to include some sort of prompt in the chat at any point during this video, go ahead and drop it in. Looks like my graphics glitched out there for a sec. Okay, so let's go down. So we can copy this code now, I suppose. Let's see. The script uses the TheKinter library to create a window with a canvas. A black rectangle is drawn on the canvas representing the camera. The update position function moves the rectangle on the x-axis and applies a random camera shake. The function is called repeatedly using the root after method to create the animation. Alright, let's check it out. So in order to bring that in from GPT-4, what I actually need to do is a split over here. This will help us keep track. Switch this to the text editor and just hit new, paste in that code, and then we'll go over at the top and hit run script under text, or Alt-P is the shortcut for that. So we're getting an error. Line 1, import TheKinter. No module name TheKinter. Okay, so I think it's just trying to be too advanced for what we're asking it. Let's see. That also didn't work. Create this effect. Create a camera with this effect using keyframes. If this sacrifices adaptability of the animation, so be it. Oh, did I not specify we're using Blender? That's hilarious. I never told it we were using Blender. Yeah, and it's actually suggesting that I use Blender. That's hilarious. I'm gonna tell it to stop generating. Oh, okay, never mind. There we go. That's crazy. So I didn't tell it I was using Blender, so that's why I guess I now learned some stuff about other software that's used for camera shakes. That's why I was like, why are we talking about rectangles and such? So it's going to create keyframes for Blender, and it's just funny that it arrived at using Blender. Remove the default cube by selecting it and press the X key followed by Enter. And it also tells you to delete the default cube, which is fantastic. If you don't know, that is a meme in the Blender community to always delete the default setup. Click the new button in the scripting window to create a new script. Replace the default script with following Python code. Alright, yeah, click the run script, and this will create the camera shake. Press 0 on the numpad to switch to the camera view. Press space to play the animation. You can adjust the animation length and the camera shake intensity in the script to achieve the desired effect. This script creates keyframes every second, but you can increase the frequency by changing the value of frames per second. Okay, we'll deal with all that when we get into it. Go back to Blender, replace our script here. And then we go to text, run script. Okay, that was immediate. Wow, alright, there it goes. So if we look through the camera, yeah, you've got a little bit of camera shake. So what happens if I rotate this on the z-axis? Follows the path that it has a little bit more. Or yeah, it's like moving backwards right now. That's pretty cool. All right, pretty neat. So we have a camera, and it's animated with some camera shake. Let's start dropping in some geometries. Or let's see what else I got here. Yeah, I got here generate a script for generating procedural terrain. Let's check that out. So we go over here to the plugin. We're using 3-5 within Blender. Oh, that's not what I copied. Copy. Oops. Oh no. I'm gonna hit save. Scripts. Okay. Oh, it reset. Never mind. So I can paste the thing here and hit execute. Alright, let's give that a second. So at the same time, well, it's frozen over a little bit. Oh, there we go. That's our terrain, which is not a terrain. Oh, I'm gonna undo. I think we can say that did not create a terrain, but rather an array of surfaces. You can achieve a terrain. Let's help it out a little bit. You can achieve a terrain by creating a plane, subdividing it, and displacing it with some noise. All right. Let's see, if I go over to ChatGPT 4 and I paste this in, let's see what it does with just the bare bones level of a prompt instead of all the help we gave 3-5. Oh, we got an error here. I did not quite catch it, although we do have a plane here and it is subdivided and there is a displacement modifier here. So that's cool. 3-5 did create geometry. It did add a subdivision modifier. It also added a displacement modifier. What it did not do was create a noise texture. So what we would have expected it to do was create here new and set this one here to a new image or a new texture. And if we were to go into here, we would then add an image here or any sort of use. Maybe we could use dream textures to help it out. I mean, just as a quick little fun thing. Stable diffusion. We can ask it to do a displacement map for a terrain. Depth special. Oh, inputs. Depth and color. No, I don't want to do depth. Alright, fine. Depth. Oh, we're supposed to use, you're right, we gotta go into tabbing into it, and then we can switch back to -1. Huh, I'm locked into using depth with dream textures. Alright, this isn't what this video is about. So, let's see what ChatGPT 4 came up with. So, using the Python API, the following script creates a simple terrain using Perlin noise. First, you'll need to install the noise library. Click the run script. I wonder if it will import those libraries. Let's see. We'll copy that code. Yeah, you can just hit copy code on the top right. Back into Blender. And let's see. We're gonna hide that. We're gonna delete this. And we're gonna create a new script here. So we can expand this a little bit more. Just hit go to text new, paste, and text run script. line 3. So it's trying to import the noise thing. I'm gonna tell ChatGPT or GPT-4 right away. Moving forward, I do not want to install any libraries or plugins. Moving forward, present solutions that are possible within a standard Blender installation. It's apologizing. You can create procedural terrain in Blender using its Python API without any additional libraries. In this example, we use a simple sine wave function to generate a terrain like mesh. Great. Okay, so no installing, no plugin, anything. I think GPT-4 is still in development. They have put out a couple of notices on some issues that people are experiencing. It is a lot more direct than GPT 3-5. So I think what's happening here is in trying to make it more concise and direct, it may not be, or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe there's some sort of offset there where it's becoming more complex than it needs to be and more direct to the point. In terms of not really keeping in mind, maybe I should tell it I have no coding experience, and so its answers would change. Okay, we got the script there, and it says we can adjust the terrain size and terrain resolution. Let's copy that code. We go over here. Yeah, this one didn't work. Let's replace it. Paste. We'll go text, run script. Yes. All right. It's a very even terrain. That's fine. It did say it was using a sine function. So if we check out over here the script, I'm going to lean a little bit closer to my screen. Here's a bmesh object, and initialize the terrain mesh. Generate the terrain using a sine wave function. So here's that section. X, Y, Z, X coordinates, Y coordinates, height. Okay. So it doesn't actually have any values anywhere, but it does have to establish X and Y. So if I could find, oh, right up here, actually, it's creating them right here. Terrain settings. So we can make it larger. So we go to 300. And then I suppose if I hit Alt-P, yep, Alt-P to run the updated script. So that made it larger. Terrain resolution. So let's make it smaller, and then let's increase the resolution. So we have these tiled faces on it, and we can tell it to increase resolution. Let's double it to 512. Height scale 10. Let's decrease that to 8, and sine scale 0.1. I don't know, 0.2. Running stuff here. Alt-P. Line 9 created a mistake. Oh, I added a comma by accident. Okay, so that is more pronounced. So that's increasing the sine scale. I'm gonna go back to GPT-4. Say that worked perfectly. I like the terrain to use a Perlin noise function rather than a sine function. As it creates that, we can start up our next test within Blender. So we'll hit here for getting into the plugin for 3-5 and create a script for generating seamless patterns for an image texture. Create a script for automating the creation of logo animations. So maybe we could try that. Create a script for automating the creation of logo animations. So I'd want to specify that we want the logo to rotate. Specifically, make animate a logo object to rotate. Okay. What was that? We got all kinds of messages, but then it seems like it's still going. All right, so let's see what GPT-4 is up to. So, okay, that's a lot. You can create procedural terrain in Blender using a Perlin noise function without any additional libraries by implementing a basic Perlin noise function directly in the script. Cool, that is what I asked for. The script includes a basic implementation of Perlin noise without using any additional libraries. Click run, and we still get our adjustable things. So we'll copy that code, go back in here. We're still waiting on that, I suppose. We have an error, so I'm not sure if it will be able to move forward with that. But let's create a new text here and paste that new Perlin noise function. We'll hide the current terrain, and then we'll hit run script. Sweet, there's our Perlin noise landscape. Pretty neat. If you'd like to add any suggestions in the chat, by the way, on any sort of thing that we could test out here with GPT-4, it seems like we're having tons of success with that. We can see our camera moving through the landscape animated. We can find the script for the camera. I should be naming these. So this one, let's call it the camera movement with shake. So we go back up here and we see we've got camera shake, angle, X offset, Y offset, and then down here we should have our, there we go, animate the camera. So we have the frames per second, which 24 being the default, fine. Animation length 100, let's animate it for 400 frames. Let's kick this file up to 400. There we are. And camera shake intensity 0.5, oh 0.9. I don't want to just double it, which I guess is just the edge right there. Alt P, okay. And then we'll play through the animation. Cool, so it looks like it reset the camera position as well. We have a camera moving through a terrain, and it's, yeah, okay, it's working as intended. We can also go back over to the terrain script. This is the Perlin noise terrain, correct? You can always check that by, there we go, definition of a Perlin noise. So this is a Perlin noise landscape, and we have our sign function here, is intersecting with it. This could be interesting too, if we were to merge, if we asked ChatGPT to merge these two together. So save that other script real quick for a sign function plain. Yeah, it seems like that error that we got on 3-5 here in the chat has hung out or blocked us from moving forward. Let's see. We'll wait for that to respond. In the meantime, the terrain worked very well, so let's move on to the logo animation. Example for GPT-4. So create a script for automating the creation of logo animations, and we'll add in at this time a little comment of keep in mind I am not familiar with code, and keep in mind, although I understand how to edit values in Python script, I am not familiar with code and do not want to install any additional resources beyond Blender's default. You gotta work with the AI a little bit. I've noticed that. It's like, it's not just asking things and being really dry. It's really like the more conversational you are with it, it keeps up all that knowledge. That's why I also kind of have gotten into the habit of creating threads here. So if I continue to ask for YouTube titles, or if I continue to ask for similar material, it can always build on top of my previous interactions with it. Okay, so here's a script to create a simple logo animation using only built-in features. The script will import an SVG logo, extrude it, add a rotation animation, and set up a camera and lighting. Okay, we need a new file for that. So let's save this and hit new, general. So although I introduced the plugin, I know I'm using GPT-4 to do all these, but you know, once they get rid of the wait list or they add me into the wait list, we'll be seeing these things. I just noticed my camera. My face isn't in camera. There we go. Yeah, we'll see this implemented into the plugin once I get off the wait list for GPT-4. So let's go back to our setup here for our script, so text editor, and we can go down over here, copy the code. Oh, it's still going. Update the logo file path. Okay, it's done. Let's see. New text, paste, run it, and we're getting an error. Line 16. File not found. No such directory. Oh, it's looking for the logo. So, alright, so yeah, line 16, file path equals logo underscore file path. Import curve.sv. Maybe, yeah. Can you clue me in, ChatGPT? Let's see. Update the logo file path variable in the script with the path to your SVG file. Logo file, okay. I see. So the variable is this one. So here it's defining file path equals, and then wherever our file is at, wherever SVG is at. So we can create an SVG real quick for a logo. Sure, we'll do Illustrator. Real simple. I'm just gonna do, I don't even know, something. Well, you know what? I have an SVG of my logo. Do that. You go to brand. Going through my files here. Logos. Main logo. Yeah. No, I have an EPS. That's fine. We'll convert that. Well, yeah. Okay. I know about the new stuff, which is really cool. Actually, I should test this out for an upcoming video. 3D stuff in Illustrator. You can export 3D models as well. So really, really neat. Improved pan, zoom, and scroll. That's a great feature to add. So we'll go here to web or more templates. I mean, it's fine. We'll do something square for web or art and illustration. Where was the there was a logo format. Oh no, whatever. Do a poster. And into here we'll bring in my logo. I think I do, well, I just brought in a PNG. So I wonder if I bring in an EPS. Let's see, embed, select it. Okay, so yeah, this one has, the important part here is like the PNG is an image, right? So if I expand it or continue to click into it, it's just a photo. Whereas the EPS file, I can get into it here and I can select these individual letters. If I go into direct selection mode, this is like it's a vector object, which is what we need out of an SVG. So there we go, there's our SVG. We'll do file, save as, look here for the format or SVG, and go ahead and save. Okay. Save our file, SVG1, sure, and bring it over here. Still exporting? Come on. File, save as. Oh. I totally went to the wrong place. Why? Okay. Let's minimize that. Go back into Blender. And right here's our, we'll rename it logo. And we can right click, copy as path. So we have here logo file path, and we can paste in there. Oh, that was strange. Line 16, okay, it kicked in. Oh, I guess it it was long, so it took us to the end here where we couldn't see any more code. So according to GPT-4, that should work. We'll hit Alt P. Line 16 again. Import the SVG logo. See if I missed anything that GPT was specifying. No, that's all it said. So let's see here, since this is color coded, I can read a little bit easier. I wasn't supposed to do it there. I was supposed to do it way up here at logo settings. That's on me for not knowing code. So we go up, and I'm gonna stay within the quotation marks. Oh. There we go. Let's see. Again, line 16, giving an error. So we'll go ahead and report that to ChatGPT. I am getting an error for line 16. Coding through an AI. Apologies for the confusion. Yeah, I got confused, I'm sure. It seems the object selection method used in the script is outdated. What? Does it? Well, if you knew that, come on. I am really curious. I mean, I'm using it and I understand it, how to, I understand a bit more about it as a user, but I really have no idea how this stuff works. Like I was discussing this today about Midjourney. I understand how it creates images. What I don't understand is how it's gotten so good, so quickly. But yeah, let's see. These other prompts that I have here may be too advanced from what I'm seeing right now, or at least, there's quite a bit of troubleshooting to do. So generate a script for creating a custom 3D font. I don't think it'll manage that. Create a script for animating text along a path. That I could see happening, especially because it seems to do well with things like modifiers and keyframes. Create a script for, or generate a script for creating 3D product mockups with custom lighting and materials. No way that can work, I hope. But we'll try some of these. And if you'd like to add any prompts into the chat, please do. I'll use them as suggestions here and see what ChatGPT can come up with that. We'll do a new text here for this script. Oh no, we don't want a new one. This one didn't work. So replace it. And any instructions here to be aware of? Make sure to replace the logo file path. Yes, sir. Copy as path. File path, whatnot. Paste. Okay. Alt P. Line 16 again. Come on. Permission denied to Dropbox. Okay. Maybe it's my fault. Let's move this to the desktop. And we go to desktop file. I really need to copy as path. So if it can't access the Dropbox folder for whatever reason, let's see if it's able to access the desktop. Line 5. Syntax error. Codec can't decode bytes in position 2-3. File text. Let's see. I do that again. Python file text line 5 syntax error, Unicode error. Unicode decoded can't decode bytes. Okay, I'm gonna just tell it there's a syntax error on line 5. Maybe I need there's a slash here in the front. Maybe when I copy, yeah, this one doesn't have a slash. Still getting an error. And I think is that error coming from this? No. Alright, let's see what it says. More confusion and no, that's from before. Yeah, no, actually more apologies for confusion. It seems that the variable name was not updated correctly. So I guess I'm teaching GPT how to code. Even though I don't know how, I'm just telling it the errors I'm getting, and if we actually get the result that we want, then that means that GPT-4 made a mistake like 3 or 4 times on this thing, and for me to just be telling it what the software is saying as far as an error, and it troubleshooting itself, if that's actually what's happening, then we still have jobs. Okay, let's see. Test this out. Okay, copy the path once more. And, oh, my slash was going in the wrong direction last time too. Is that what's happening? When I copy path, my slashes go in the other way. Forward slash or backslash or whatnot. Let's see. Nope, still no. Line 16. Well, no, that did actually, that fixed the error in line 5, but we're still getting an error on line 16. Invalid argument. Location, one files, no blender, scripts. That the file location is an invalid argument. So that must be because of what I just did. So there might just be a syntax error here that's happening that only has to do with the file path. So, oops. You go back. You see here, path to your logo.svg. These are, imagining this is a backward slash. Forget. And these are forward slashes. However, when I run the script, yeah, it's giving me an error at this line. So maybe I just need to replace in line 16, there are no slashes. Logo, file path, import SVG. Alright, we're going to move on to a different prompt. Because although this could work, I've gone back and forth on it enough. Let's move on to a new script. Generate a script for creating a custom 3D font. Create a script for generating. Let's see this. Create a script for generating abstract geometry shapes and random colors and textures. You know what? Let's give -5 a shot at that as well. Okay, I'm starting to get an error with the plugin as well. Perhaps if I do a new file. Okay, yeah, new file. Oh, that's why I'm getting those errors. So, good thing to know about the plugin, you want to have a blank text file when you're putting in a new prompt. Because if you created a prompt and then you're creating a new prompt, it's basically it's going to try and overwrite, or it won't even try to overwrite that existing script generated previously. So you do need to create a new text here in Blender in order to switch gears. We'll go back to GPT-4 and we'll give it the same request. But I'm going to let it know that that didn't work. Let's move on for now. It's apologizing for the inconvenience. Yeah, tell that to the viewers. If you would like to try another approach or need help with a different topic, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm here to help. Alright, see if that's true. Create a script for generating abstract geometry shapes with random colors and textures. Here is a script to create random abstract geometry shapes using in Blender's built-in feature. We'll give that a second. Let's see how this is doing. Got a text editor. We got nothing. Maybe I'm going to specify here for 3-5. Create a script for generating abstract geometric shapes as meshes. I've noticed with GPT 3-5, you kind of have to be specific about Blender's function. So we want it to be meshes with random colors and textures, with random colors, with random colored textures for materials. Try that again. And we go over here, still going. So at least for now we see that in settings for this one it's giving us number of shapes to generate, minimum scale of the shapes, maximum scale of the shapes, list to store materials. Okay, that's for itself. So it's creating a list of materials to hold those different values that it's going to create. So it creates a random material. It's using nodes. Interesting. So it knows about nodes in the shader editor. Still going. Setting up a camera. Okay. Remove the default shader. Add random texture node. So it's adding textures. It's adding a color ramp. It's adding an emission shader. An output node. Okay, that's for the materials as well. Alright, so that's pretty complex for the materials. So let's see. And then it's doing the shapes. So it's creating a cube, a cylinder, a cone, a UV, sphere, and an icosphere. Location, random, somewhere between -10 and 10. Okay. Apply random scale, random rotation, and then it applies a random material from the list of materials. Set up a camera, so it sets up a camera, and it sets up lighting. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it stopped generating. That's fine, I suppose. We got the code. Let's test it out. And once again, we got nothing from the plugin. So, oh, here's the script. Did it just not run? Or this might be, yeah. Random color. Wait, what? My code is already here from ChatGPT. Did I get off the waitlist as I was streaming? Because I'm not getting the things I'm inputting here. In 1 second. Because that would be very trippy. If I'm putting things into ChatGPT or into GPT-4, and if it knows I'm accessing the plugin and it's just bypassing this over here, I doubt it. I don't know. That's a good one. Paste that in there and do Alt P. Line 55. Calling operator mesh primitive add error could not be found. Okay, mesh primitive add could not be found. Error in line 55, was it? Yeah. Okay, let's report that back. Error on line 55, which was mesh primitive add did not work or could not be found. The error code states that could not be found. Okay. We're about to wrap up after this one. Hopefully it works. And if not, I mean, we kind of pushed it to its limits here. We do have that one file with the landscape and the camera. That worked well. All this other stuff could be nice to be able to do in the future, although it is a process. So there is some troubleshooting that you can do with the GPT. However, if I were more savvy in Python code, I might be able to pick up what the mistakes are. And even if I were in that situation, I just saved so much time, right? If I actually worked in this way, because I don't have to write the whole code, I just have to debug it. So perhaps the application for this can be good for things like you want to quickly animate something, and you just want to start adding keyframes, or you want to quickly add some modifiers to geometry and things like that. I think that's the most straightforward thing at the moment for people that don't know how to code, like myself. And if you know Python, I mean, you've got 95 to 99% of the solution pre-built for you. Let's see what it said. It's going through the whole thing again. It seems the function name was incorrect. Well, I mean, you've said that before, but let's see if you know what it actually is. Maybe I could Google that. Not found. And if I just change that. Okay, someone ran into that at some point. The code won't run. Primitive is misspelled. Well, that's this person's case. Is that our case? Primitive. I don't think so. Or not misspelled, but maybe it has a different lettering. I'm trying to find that in this person's code. Primitive. No, yeah, he did make a typo. How do you specify the name of a primitive? Yeah, so this person is using this u_align equals false. Primitive add, type, shape type, location. Okay, no, so I think it is just a mistake going on with something like that. Let's see if or wrapped up. It did. Okay, let's test that out. Copy code. And we'll replace this one. Line 72, so it fixed the error in line 55. Now we're getting an error in line 72 for the shape rotation. And the error we're getting on that last line is text, syntax error. The bracket was never closed. Oh. Is that it? No, we gotta add a bracket. Perhaps? Or is that it? Just parentheses? No. Because the slash is never closed. Did it not finish? I don't think it did. It seems like you did not finish that code. Maybe I can't move away from the screen. I don't know. But with that, I mean, proved some concepts that can work, saw some others that didn't. But yeah, testing this to its limits at the current state. All of this is still under development. That plugin as well. The plugin seems to be working fine. It seems to be more like its relationship to the API that gets called into question sometimes. It becomes questionable. But yeah, if you have any questions or any suggestions for prompts I should try before I log off, you can go ahead and add them into the chat, comment. Otherwise, I'm going to ask GPT 3-5, or not otherwise, additionally to any other suggestions you would give. I'm going to maybe just add it to add a material to the landscape, something basic, so I can render out a scene and be like, AI created this in Blender. Because we did get somewhere with it, and I'm really interested in seeing, you know, I'm interested in seeing once I get off the wait list and I can use GPT-4 directly in Blender, what that's going to look like for what it generates, if it's going to be any different, if it's going to have any sort of context that I don't necessarily need to provide for it to do prompts in this way. And yeah, just generally GPT-4 getting better. It looks like it didn't finish again. They're trying to be too long. Apply random scale, apply random rotation. Maybe it did finish and it doesn't know how to cap it. So if I go back and I compare that to before, it finished on setting up lighting. But I see where it's stopping though. Apply random rotation. If I scroll down, here's the apply random rotation. So if I copy the previous code past this point, theory, I should have everything I need. So shape rotation, right? That's what I'm replacing. Shape rotation, yeah. Okay. And what you got? We got it. We did. All right. Okay. No animation, right? But it said it did create a camera. Set up camera. Is this our camera? No, it's not looking at anything. I mean, maybe it is, but it's not looking at anything. Okay. Well, we can position it. And we've got something here that the AI has generated for us. It's supposed to have materials and lighting as well. So we have a light. Which isn't very tense for the scene. If I select it and I bump it up, nope. The material, so the light is working because if I add a material, getting lit. What's not working is if I add a surface, we can see it and it's lit. But what's not working is the materials. So I know I created materials, did it not? Set up camera, create random shapes, create random materials. Where are they? Oh, random materials 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So they're just not, they're all just pitch black. They've got nothing. Oh, I went into my geometry editor by mistake. Shader editor. Oh, it just missed out on plugging in. Oh, it's got 2 material outputs. That's why. It didn't delete the existing material output. So, I mean, I don't know if it's on the AI to... Yeah, the AI should know, right? So here we can see if I just delete this material output, which is right now the principal one. I mean, this one's grayed out. This one has a red tab. So if I click on this one, now that one's in effect. This one shouldn't even be here. But yeah, it did do it. It made some mistakes along the way, but it got there. I'm going to tone this back down to what the previous unit was, just to see what the AI intended us for us to see. And that, to the camera. So there you are, an abstract scene with camera and a light generated by ChatGPT. I know it's nothing crazy, but I mean, we could continue to build on this. I'm gonna save this. Geometry, abstract geometry. But yeah, I mean, this is an initial impression of the plugin and of GPT-4 on how it's working to write scripts in Blender. So with that, I will be signing off and doing more research on how to use this as a tool and keep you updated on any improvements that it makes or anything I found out, prompt-wise that can help the process. But yeah, this is super exciting, where you can just kind of kickstart any project, or if you run into something you don't know how to do, you can just create a script for it. Yeah, super interesting. So comment what you think or any opinions you might have. Don't forget to subscribe and hit notification if you want to see more of these videos coming up. I post on social media what it is that I stream on leading up to the streams, and yeah, every Tuesday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. I'm on here. So I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for dropping in. Thank you, EM, for always coming through. And yeah.